you. The committee will come back to order. Brenden Boudreau from Great Lakes Gun Rights supports the bill, wishes to speak.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to address the committee on this important legislation. I won't go through my whole testimony here. I think that some good points were already made by the committee. As I've spoken with Representative Lefebvre on a few occasions. We believe that his bill package is a solid piece of legislation. It's not the preferred one that we have, but this one moves the ball forward in the right direction, we believe, for Michigan. One thing I'd really like to focus on during my time of testimony is the absurdity of Michigan law right now when it comes to carrying a concealed pistol. To do so without a permit is a 5-year felony in the state of Michigan. California treats it with a misdemeanor. Carrying a concealed pistol without a permit is a victimless crime, and we are throwing people in jail for up to 5 years in the state of Michigan. For a crime where there is actually a victim, such as assaulting a police officer to the point that they require medical attention, is a 4-year felony. So just to contemplate on that for a moment, on what we're talking about here. Open carry of a pistol is already legal in Michigan without a permit. It is the act of concealment, as I believe it was Representative Beeler who talked about the coat tax. It is simply wearing a coat. We believe that there should be no difference between open carry and concealed carry under state law. There are currently 21 states that recognize the right to carry concealed or openly a pistol for self-defense. This isn't some new idea. We're now in 21 states, 5 states passing it this year. It isn't just small rural states either. The second most populous state in the nation, Texas, passed it just this year. So as this legislation continues to spread, it's only a matter of time. I believe that this will be a serious conversation here in Michigan, and we appreciate that we have the opportunity to discuss it here. I'm open to answer any questions, but otherwise, thank you for your time.
Representative Eisen has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Part of talking about ridiculous laws, to concealed carry, your alcohol content is 0.02. I'm pretty sure that's correct. And to open carry, it's 0.08. Okay, so if I simply move my coat aside, I can have a couple more beers. If I put my coat over my gun, I'm in trouble. So just the fact that open carry is 0.08 and concealed carry is 0.02 makes absolutely no sense. So we need to tighten up that a little bit or get rid of it or do something, but that is just ridiculous. Thank you.
Through the chair to the representative, I agree. When it comes to our gun laws here in Michigan, there is much inconsistency. There is much confusion. Law enforcement officers don't even fully understand the law because it is so convoluted. My father has been in law enforcement for 35 plus years. Talking to him about some of these laws make his head hurt because of how he's supposed to handle some of these situations. It's also become untenable for some law enforcement officers to enforce the laws on the books.
I would just like to take the opportunity to thank Great Lakes Gun Rights for their help on getting rid of some absurd laws and cleaning things up. Great partners. Certainly appreciate that. Are there any other questions? Representative Bazat.
Brenden, thank you for your testimony. You noted in your statement here that it's not your preferred legislation. I think Johnson has legislation as well. Could you give us a quick overview of what the differences are?
Yeah, through the chair to Representative Bazat. The package that Representative Bazat is speaking about is House Bill 4863 through 4868. The two major differences between Representative Lefebvre's and Representative Johnson's bills are that we have the view that if you can carry there currently with a pistol with a permit, you should be able to carry there without a permit. It's a matter of simplifying the code. It's a matter of saying that if someone can legally carry there right now, the permit should not grant you any special rights, and that's been our standard. I work for the National Association for Gun Rights as well. We've been working on developing national standards for this legislation across the nation, and that's just been one of the requirements that we've made on good legislation. The other issue deals with duty to inform. Right now, in the state of Michigan, if you are a concealed pistol license holder, you're required to notify law enforcement upon first contact. And I don't remember the exact wording on the law, but I know it's very vague and creates very difficult situations for law enforcement. Michigan is, I believe, in the minority of states that require notification. The absurdity of Michigan law, again, is that Michigan's law on duty to inform does not apply to an 18-year-old permit holder from Indiana. So an 18-year-old from Indiana with a permit comes up to Michigan. The duty to notify does not apply to him. It only applies to Michigan CPL holders.
What if an individual had a dead body in the trunk and had just murdered 7 people and was illegally carrying a firearm? When they get pulled over by law enforcement, are they required to tell the cop they've got a gun in the car?
Mr. Chairman, as my father would say, a criminal's not going to tell you the truth anyways.
But they have a right to not incriminate themselves. And so they're not required to tell the officer they got a dead body in the trunk and an illegal firearm in the car. But a law-abiding citizen is required. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, that's a crime.
Under current court understanding and current court ruling, that's correct. The criminal would have more rights than a law-abiding citizen.
Are there any other questions?
Mr. Chair, if I could just follow up.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? My apologies.
No, you're good. It's an immediate response. If I go up to a car and ask for driver's license, registration, proof insurance, and that individual is responding to my request, because that's the first thing we ask, that conversation or that could take 20 to 30 seconds. And then if they tell the officer that I have a permit to carry, they're in violation.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something wrong with that.
Yeah. Sorry.
There is something wrong with that. We need to change that part of the law.
Yeah. Through the chairman to the representative, if I could speak to that as well, just conversations with my father on this is that there are good law enforcement officers who give grace in those circumstances. The problem is that Michigan law does not have grace. And unfortunately, there are some who just don't understand or fully understand it. You have rookie officers who, it's their first week on the job. They don't know how to handle that situation necessarily. And the fact that you could throw someone in jail, or they would lose their permit in that instance, or if somebody carrying in the state of Michigan. This happens far too often where somebody comes into Michigan thinking they can carry in their car or in their semi truck, their tractor trailer, and they get busted up because of Michigan's laws. I mean, there are several cases that our legal foundation are dealing with truck drivers coming to the state of Michigan and getting strung up by Michigan's laws.
Mr. Chair, and it's not just the rookies. There's senior officers that actually do that on purpose. So this law needs to be fixed, and I think Rep. Bison's bill will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, if I might, one other thing. Myself and my staffer will be going around to House offices today. We have 24,000 petitions in support of constitutional carry. So if you see our bright smiling faces, say hi. These petitions are coming from your constituents supporting this legislation. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.